captured in the interior and sold to European slave traders. The slave trade had a devastating impact on African economies as it disrupted trade networks, destroyed local industries, and destabilized societies. The demand for slaves created a massive incentive for African rulers and traders to capture and sell their fellow Africans, leading to widespread violence and conflict. As a result, many regions became depopulated, as entire communities were wiped out or forced to flee. Furthermore, the slave trade distorted the natural economic incentives that existed in African societies.
And we know a lot of people who were taken away. These are individuals, our brothers and sisters, that had a lot of our traditions, our cultures that I believe were passed on. But the fact that they were taken to another nation with everything that we beheld as our foundation of life or doing things, and the fact that they were forced to assimilate to a new system, it means our cultures, our tradition literally was erased from us. And that's why I believe right now, a lot of Africans right now, where we are right now, we're not really, or that was not something that was taught to us. It was not something that was passed on. It was literally erased. It was really literally hidden away from us. But because of a lot of individuals, talk about scholars, who've basically documented these things, and we can basically go back and learn about our culture and traditions again. But as I always say, nature is they literally coming back to its natural course. So there's no way, regardless how many years that this happened, that would never be eroded away from us because it's who we are. Our identity is rooted in our culture and tradition, in our creator. And the creator is everywhere. Literally, you open your eyes, how the trees, the wind, talk about um, the planet and everything that we can see. That's the creator is in us, around us, within us. And he'll always bring back everything to its natural source.
Instead of investing in long term productive activities, such as agriculture, mining, and manufacturing, African elites focused on capturing and selling slaves to European traders. This led to the neglect of other sectors of the economy, which could have provided sustainable sources of income. The slave trade also had a long term impact on the human capital of African societies. Millions of able bodied men and women were forcibly taken from their homes and shipped across the Atlantic, leaving behind a society that was depleted of its most productive members. The loss of such a significant portion of the population.
Productive members in all ways talk about the knowledge and information. That's like really the most important thing. Our culture. These people held a lot, knew a lot about everything that we are. And that was literally erased just like that by slavery, by colonization.
Stunted the growth and development of African economies. But the impact of slavery on Africa went beyond just the transatlantic slave trade. Even after the abolition of slavery in the 19th century, European powers continued to exert control over much of the continent through colonialism and imperialism. This had a devastating impact on Africa's political, economic, and social development as European powers used their military and economic might to extract resources and suppress local cultures and traditions. While many able bodied men and women had already been taken away as slaves, the problem could be further compounded by the fact that many African countries were forced to focus on producing cash crops for export rather than developing their own industries and infrastructure. By tearing apart communities,
because that will definitely bring back or bring us back to our independence and the fact that we can see or basically heard the conversation regarding a lot of the people who were taken away were in their most productive and prime age.
and families, slavery undermined the social fabric of many African societies, making it difficult for people to trust each other and work together towards common goals. This made it harder for African countries to build strong, stable societies and institutions that could support sustainable development. European powers, particularly Britain, France, Germany, Belgium, Portugal, and Spain, used their military and economic might to carve out territories in Africa and establish colonies. These territories were then used to extract valuable resources such as rubber, timber, minerals, and oil, which were essential for the industrialization of Europe. The European powers also used their colonies as a market for their goods and services, which further enhanced their economic dominance over Africa. The European powers would further weaken Africans by taking away their way of life and traditions. One of the ways in
Weaken, right? Because that's what really identifies with who you are. It's our identity, our culture and tradition. That's what really identifies or basically defines. That's the word I can definitely use. Defines you as an individual, as an African individual, your culture and traditions, and the fact that these were forced. Basically, you're forced not to practice this, not to pass information through this, also to adapt a new language, also that religion was forced on you with violence, yeah, and brutality. So it basically tells us why, or the main reason our culture and tradition were literally eroded away from us, because with that we have power, we have pride and confidence in who we are. And if you know who you are, nobody can tell you anything about who you're not, because you know who you are.
which this was done was through the imposition of European culture and values on the local population. European powers believed that their way of life was superior to that of Africans, and they sought to impose.
Which way of life, literally? Because I believe we had the way of life. We are the fathers and mothers of civilization.
It on the local population. This often involved the suppression of local cultures and traditions, which were seen as backward and uncivilized. This had a significant impact on Africa's economic development, as it stifled innovation
It's funny because we were the civilized, so it doesn't add up.
and creativity, and prevented the emergence of a strong indigenous economy. European powers would impose their cultures on African populations through the suppression of local languages, which remains in Africa today. The colonizers saw local languages as primitive and inferior, and often forced African children to learn European languages instead. This would lead to the erasing local languages and culture, as children grew up speaking European languages and often lost their connection to their own culture and traditions.
And their God.
In addition to language suppression, European powers also imposed their religious beliefs on African populations. Missionaries from Europe arrived in Africa with the goal of converting the local population to Christianity, often using force and coercion to do so. The resulting
Force and coercion. As I said earlier, if something is meant to basically bring sunlight and rainbows and love, nobody has to use force. But force was indulged so that they'll definitely or will definitely adapt to their way of worship.
effects led to the extinction of traditional African religions and practices, which were seen as pagan and primitive by European colonizers. Another way in which European powers imposed their cultures on African populations was through the imposition of European legal systems. European colonizers imposed their own legal systems on African populations, often with little regard for local customs and traditions. Just like the other rules brought in by the foreign colonizers, this would erase local legal systems and practices, which were often more suited to the needs and values of the local population. Furthermore, European powers often used violence and force to maintain their dominance over Africa. They established military bases and used their armies to crush any resistance or rebellion from the local population. This led to the loss of countless lives and the destruction of communities and infrastructure. The violence and instability created by European colonialism and imperialism had a profound impact on Africa's economic development, as it made it difficult for communities to engage in productive economic activities. Perhaps most damaging of all, European colonizers also imposed their economic systems on African populations. European powers viewed Africa as a source of raw materials and labor, and often forced African populations to work in mines and plantations owned by European companies. They often used their colonies as a source of cheap labor, allowing European companies to maximize their profits, regardless of the devastating impact on the health and well being of the local population. The exploitation of African labor was a major driver of European economic growth, but it came at a great cost to the people of Africa. This led to the fall of traditional African economic systems and practices, which were often more sustainable and equitable than the systems imposed by European colonizers. Over the centuries, the imposition of European cultures and values on African populations led to the loss and stunting of the growth of African culture. African languages,
As we've been talking about the loss of our culture and tradition, the main conversation about this video, and literally giving us a pointer is something I know everybody who's listening on YouTube, Rumble, which you knows about this, helps us or basically encourages us, empowers us to basically relearn and learn more about our culture, practice it. Is it about talk about your connection to the source, to the creator, and how you were literally highly connected. And I believe if you're super connected to the creator, he will literally open your eyes to basically walk in your purpose as we are coming back to the history of astrology and basically redefine everything that has been instilled in you that you're not supposed to be in because of the system and the source of slavery and colonization. A lot of our cultures and traditions were erased, hidden, taken away because there's so much power if you know who you are. There's so much power in identity. There's so much power in identity. And if we lose our identity, it makes the one who's ruling over you, it's an inferiority complex agenda. Makes them feel better and powerful, but it's the other way around because you have a culture, you have tradition, there's a way of a life that you follow. So that makes you know who you are. And it's not even a matter of making other people feel like they're not good enough or anything like that. It's just the fact that I know who I am, I know where I come from, I know who I am in this world. I am a God. Literally, I am a God. We're going to go back to the conversation of the history of astrology after giving us a pointer of how our tradition and cultures were lost and literally hidden, eroded away from us. But how can we get back to that? By relearning and learning more about different aspects about it, about our culture, about the African origin of astrology. That's what's up.
To African Insights. Let's explore the truth about Africa. African Insights, please kindly subscribe and like the channel. In black and white, we will cultures, birthed discoveries in astronomy. Many of these are foundations on which we still rely, and some were so advanced that their mode of discovery still cannot be understood. A wealth of evidence of astronomy has been found in the Great Rings of Zimbabwe, Timbuktu in West Africa, and basically there was star law in the ancient Egyptians, Ethiopians, the Akan, San, Zulus, Xhosas, Venda, Botswana, and other Africans, to name but a few. The current education system should therefore equally promote and embrace both Western and African belief about the stars, moon, sun, and other terrestrial bodies. No belief or knowledge is superior or should be allowed to dominate another in the current global knowledge economy. Western colonialism and education did not only impose foreign political administrations on African indigenous communities, but also the Western belief in the sun, moon, and other celestial bodies. This has, to a certain extent, had negative implications on the development and promotion of African indigenous belief systems and knowledge about the moon, sun, and the stars. There is a culture plagiarizing habit of Greeks, Romans, Arabs, and modern racist scholars that astrology originated in Greek. Even the biased
You know that the African astrology existed before time, and it was basically the factual calendar through the astrology and how they basically counted days or time using the tally sticks. And this actually astounded a lot of foreigners who came in to basically learn about
Fell off the ram and drowned in the sea waters. After reaching the region of Colchis, the young man sacrificed the beautiful animal in
this
honor.
is a good conversation regarding the astrology or the history of astrology and how it has a big impact on who you are. And mostly, researching more about this has a big impact regarding your higher powers, regarding how you literally permeate energy into this world. And now you connect to the creator and the fact that I was talking about the history of the Dogon, right? That was Monday. But we're going to be going more back to that conversation. Hopefully, this Friday, but who you are as an individual.
The astrological horoscope prevalent in the West has its origins in several cultures, with inspiration in Babylonian astrology, Egyptian mathematics, and Greek mystical and philosophical thought. This is how the zodiac horoscope arose. The word zodiac means circle of animals. These creatures are represented in the constellations observable in the sky, and the origin of these beings is bound up with different stories from Greek mythology. This video is sponsored by Incogni. Every day we are bombarded with unsolicited messages. The sign of Aries is represented by a ram. According to Greek myth, Phrixus, prince of Boeotia, was the target of a conspiracy by his stepmother, who wanted to kill him. Answering the prayers of the prince's mother, Hermes sent a golden ram to rescue Prince Phrixus and his sister. But during the
You have to know all this is literally supposedly to be the African origin of the zodiac signs, but you can see they've literally kind of like messed up with that in this video, but kindly follow the message behind it.
journey through the skies, the princess fell off the ram and drowned in the sea waters. After reaching the region of Colchis, the young man sacrificed the beautiful animal in honor of the gods. The golden wool became the object of coveting by kings and heroes, such as the Argonauts. For its services, the golden lamb was honored in the heavens in the form of the constellation Aries. The sign of Taurus represents Zeus's metamorphosis into a bull to attract and abduct the princess Europa. In his bovine form, Zeus approached the princess, and she was delighted with the beautiful animal. With the help of her friends, she climbed onto the bull, which took the princess for a ride. At first, Europa had fun on the bull, riding the waves. But Zeus took her to the island of Crete against her will. The couple united and gave birth to a noble offspring, including King Minos, who went on to rule the island of Crete, land of the fearsome Minotaur. The constellation Taurus marked in the stars another of Zeus's ruses.
Book,
The sign of Gemini is associated with the myth of the brothers Castor and Pollux, brothers of Helen of Troy and sons of Leda and Zeus. Zeus turned into a swan to seduce Leda, and the twins were born from an egg generated by their mother. The twins became great heroes, but Castor died in his brother's arms after a fight against rivals. Distraught,
Okay,
Pollux
welcome to
asked
this
Zeus to bring his brother back to life. The god proposed that he and his brother rotate their days on Earth. He agreed, and the brothers started to live in the same body alternately. The Gemini constellation symbolizes the
To digress from that to the African origin of astrology, because more of these, they're basically talking about a lot of um, history that did not exist, which is not African. So it might be super hard for us to follow up on that. We'll talk about more about the African origin of astrology, the African, because that's the factual truth about the astrology history and how it is right now. It still exists, and the fact that we're talking about the history of astrology and the hidden cultures and traditions of who we are, or basically what defines who we are, identifies or redefines who we are as Africans, our cultures, our traditions, and how we are actually super connected to our creator.
International Astronomical Union (AIU) has approved names originating only from Arabic, Greek, or Latin. The term astrology was coined by the Greeks as the study of stars, where astronomy is the law of the stars. Nata Playa is the world's first astronomical site to be well documented, not forgetting Inzalo Yelanga here in South Africa, the stone ages of Mapungu, but these are less documented, and as a result, the shift is towards African astronomy that has immensely been recorded in Egypt. Ancient societies all around the world erected massive stone circles like celestial clocks, aligning them with the sun and stars to mark solstices. These early calendars foretold the coming of the seasons, helping civilizations track when to plant and harvest crops. They were also connected with religion and served as special ceremonial sites. Ancient Egypt, or Kemet, meaning black land, is the world's oldest and
We know that Kemet is Egypt right now. That is, the name is Kemet. It's not Egypt, the land of the blacks.
most influential civilization on record. Egyptians charted the movement of the sun and constellations and the cycles of the moon. They divided the year into 12 parts and developed a year long calendar system containing 365 days. Historians of the world have proof that
And we
Egypt
can also see how civilized Kemet was before colonization, right? And the great minds and ideas we had of building these amazing pyramids and coming up with outstanding, talk about technology. I believe that actually existed before time. And that has been changed up to how the current Egyptians look like. But we know that Egypt, the land of Kemet, we were the ones who built up everything that the land of Kemet has right now.
was the first to tell time. The oldest known sundial, also known as the sun clock or shadow clock, was found in Egypt, and it's believed to have been used 3,500 years ago. The most ancient clock known to man is the clock By
The most ancient clock. You were talking about this the other time, how we used to count time or days with the tally stick. That really a lot of this foreigner, this French researcher came in. He didn't understand what we are counting because we are the fathers and mothers of civilization. But the true time and calendar is the African calendar,
which
which
the
is literally associated with the African origin of astrology.
Earth and the Sun operate daily. Personally, I would rather invest in knowing about Egyptian astrology, especially to such facts that they were the world's first timekeepers. When Denon first discovered the Temple of Hathor at Dendera in January 1799, he found a large circular planisphere, a zodiac, on the chapel's roof. The Dendera zodiac is one of the best preserved ancient depictions of the observable stars. It contains many of the zodiac symbols as they are known today. When the existence of the zodiac was made known to scholars back in France, there were many attempts to calculate the date of construction, with some scholars suggesting the zodiac might be as much as 14,000 years old, far older than the world itself, according to the biblical chronology. In 1822, an antiquities thief named Claude Lorraine used explosive to remove the zodiac from its matrix in Dendera, and he brought it back to France, where it was purchased by the
Brought it back to France. Look at that. The stealing and the taking away, whether you like it or not. It was taken away to France.
king, for the older than the world itself, according to the biblical chronology. In 1822, an antiquities thief named Claude Lorraine used explosive to remove the zodiac from its matrix.
Explosive, literally, to remove the zodiac out of its original um, state where he was, literally. And I believe that has so much power. But the fact that individuals, people can do this, it means it's the amount of greed and selfishness to overpower everybody.
Matrix in Dendera, and he brought it back to France, where it was purchased by the king for the considerable price of 150,000 francs and put on public display. It was eventually deposited in the Louvre, where it might be seen.
Yes, yes, that's so true. That's so true. Even the design of the Louvre, literally, that's our idea. You can literally look at it, and it looks like something that the ancient people of Kemet came up with.
Today. The zodiac symbols we are most familiar with are on the inner circle, which the Greeks have built upon as they usurped it. 2,000 miles away from Egypt is the Dogon tribe, occupying
Isn't
Mali.
it amazing that I was talking about the Dogon uh, tribe, and literally it was a hypothetical question, bringing us to the conversation about, did the Dogon tribe predict what stars are made of? Yes, they did. Actually, they did not predict, they knew how that worked. And it's amazing that this conversation is coming up with that fact about the Dogon tribe.
2,000 miles away from Egypt is the Dogon tribe, occupying Mali and Burkina Faso. They knew long before Western scientists that the planets in Earth's solar system, including the Earth, orbit the Sun. When Western anthropologists first began to study Dogon culture, they were baffled at the group's advanced knowledge of the universe.
Baffled at the knowledge we had about the universe. You know why? Because we were literally connected to the creator, and all these things are revealed to us naturally. That's one thing I know, regardless, that can never be taken away from us.
They were specifically astonished at their intricate understanding of the Sirius planetary system. Western scientists discovered the Sirius system in 1862. The star system is 8.6 light years away from Earth. In 2005, astronomers were finally able to precisely mark the Series B star using the Hubble Space Telescope. Historians and scientists struggle to explain the Dogen's understanding of that specific star system.
So this is it. At midnight on 25th December, the sun is at 3 degrees of Capricorn, the point where it is born again after the solstice of 3 days, turning northbound in declination. It is also opposite the brightest star, Sirius. This is the star the three wise men. Remember that story in the Bible? Three stars in Orion's belt were following to find the new Messiah. We put a star at the top of our Xmas trees as a symbol of Sirius. The tree symbolizes the tree of life, the Milky Way where stars are born. We hang balls on our Xmas trees as a symbol of stars and planets, right? And see Virgo rising at the east at midnight in the stars of Cancer. There is a cluster called the Manger. That's where people said, or basically it is documented, where Jesus was said to be born.
Tolo is the name that Dogen gave the distant star Sirius, also referred to as Sirius A. Tolo is the name given to its smaller companion star, Sirius B. Keeping and tracking cosmological and astronomical knowledge is part of every aspect of the Dogen's core.
Also, let's actually go the fact that we understand like the power of astrologies and the three stars in Orion's belt, right? In the story that's been documented, the three stars that led the three wise men, they were basically to find the Messiah in the Bible that it says. It's amazing because the stars were literally guiding them to find the Messiah. And the stars were
Will, bado kitaka ni jam, then meguza portion. No? Mechi sets in a stress na sa
Deepest apologies, families, on that. But thank you for joining me this beautiful afternoon on Let's Pop with Ewerton. We'll continue this conversation on the next show. Remember, you are the change you need to see in the world. Let's relearn and learn more about our culture, tradition, more about astrology and everything that was hidden and taken away from us. I was just saying, regardless how much was eroded, erased, taken, stripped away, the fact that you're literally connected to the creator is the most important thing, and nobody can take that away from you. You know, because still he's gonna download everything to you and lead you. The stars will align in your life. So remember Ubuntu forever. We are taking back everything that has been stripped away from us, and nature will always go back to its natural course. Whether they like it or not, whether you like it or not, it is happening each and every day and night that you sleep and wake up. It is happening. So you have to be aligned. And to be aligned, you have to be connected to your spiritual side of you, to the creator. The topic of the day was the history of astrology. We went more to talk about the lost African culture and tradition due to slavery, also the African origin of astrology, and the mythological origin of the zodiac sign. I gave you a little bit of that. And as I said earlier, we're talking about the tribe of Dogon and how they basically predicted what the stars are made of. Not even predicted, they literally knew what the stars are made of. And these actually astounded a lot of people who came to colonize us. They wouldn't understand how that can be revealed to us. But I said it's because you're literally natural connected to our creator. But remember, much love, family. You are the change you need to see in the world. I am sending you so much love and light this beautiful afternoon. Download our app on the Google Play Store to find yourself amazing healthy supplements. Stream on www.blackhotfireradionetwork.com. You'll find yourself amazing healthy supplements, apparel, clothing, with the logo of our radio on it. We have the Benny hats, the mags, the flag of the Black Hot Fire Radio Network. We also do have some t-shirts of any size that you want. Click on it. You can leave a poly or order as you pay slowly. We got you. We care about you. We care about your money. So that's why I'm giving you an advantage to literally order as you pay slowly. Remember also to have some amazing healthy vitamins, supplements, minerals, all different categories. Health is a pivotal matter here on the Black Heart Fire Radio Network because we want you to enjoy everything the Creator has given you that belongs to you because we are gods. So you gotta be healthy fast. And it's all natural from nature. So let's listen in to the health and benefits of ashwagandha to basically let you know how it will definitely benefit you. But you are the change you need to see in the world. You're magical. You are gods. You are everything that you think you are.
Discover the natural power of ashwagandha, an ancient herb known for its healing properties. For over 3,000 years, ashwagandha has been trusted to reduce stress, increase energy, and improve focus. Our ashwagandha is carefully grown, harvested, and processed to retain its maximum potency. Each root is hand-picked and dried, then ground into a pure, organic powder, ensuring the highest quality. Simply mix 1 teaspoon into your favorite beverage or take it in capsule form as prescribed by a healthcare professional. Whether you're looking to balance your stress levels, boost your immune system, or enhance mental clarity, ashwagandha offers a natural solution. Experience the benefits of ancient wisdom backed by modern science. Trust nature. Trust ashwagandha. Go get this product at blackhotfirenetwork.com at the Sports and Nutrition Store.
For $23.90. Hello, General Mosquito. How are you doing this beautiful afternoon? Thank you for joining me, but I'm actually winding up this beautiful afternoon. I will definitely see you later on the next show, but I hope you're doing good. You're magical. You're feeling yourself. you're excited about, being alive and stuff. But thank you, family, for joining me this beautiful afternoon. I'm winding up this afternoon. Remember, Ubuntu forever. Let's stay all melanated and never forget your roots. That's what's up. Take care. Mwah. Remember, you are the change you need to see in the world. Calligraph Jones with minimal pressure as we wind up.
Feel the hit. Feel the freshness.
Greetings and salutations, Master. Here's Andrew Robbins, your Jamaican brother, all the way in Switzerland. And you're tuning in to the Black Hot Fire Radio.
1 hour of the hottest